Hey, it's Coach Randy Burton. I'm bringing you an idea today for the buyer side. The market's moving around. There's a lot of buyers that are in that looky-loo stage. The inventory and the offers and things have dropped. So you're putting more miles on your vehicle. You're looking at more houses. I'm gonna give you some dialogue to maybe help that along. I like calling this the buyer avatar. Who's your perfect buyer avatar? And really, you're gonna have this conversation with them before you start searching for homes. Now, I do have a caveat before I get started. I'll show a buyer one home and one home only, just to build that face-to-face rapport. I think it's valuable, but then we got to go right back to the office or right back to the lender approval, whatever my first step is in that, non-negotiable for me to be working with them. And I think you should have one. So number one, come up with a minimum sales price. Maybe if your average sales price is $250, you call your minimum standard $250. You don't want to be showing $100,000 mobiles. If that's not your strong suit, you could refer that out. Stay in your lane, because what you focus on expands, right? You're going to get what you ask for. So develop a minimum standard. It may be $350 or a $500 or whatever your number is. Number two, prior to looking at that after that first home or that initial meeting, if it happens or not, right, is you establish that you have to have a lender approved situation that they can close. That may mean some documents and things. That may mean postponing them, looking at houses until the point that they are ready and have this stuff done. If they've met with my lender, they've supplied their tax returns, and he's just finishing up on that, that shows good faith on my part. We can go look at houses Saturday. But that becomes a non-negotiable in your relationship with the buyer. Number three, are they serious, and would they take, and are they willing to take your advice? So serious or not, let's face it, we can't really control that, but will they take your advice? You can control that. And so what I'm talking about is having a conversation with them. Says, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer and seller, we're going to look at houses. I'm not going to sell you into a purple house when you want green, although we could paint it. I'm not going to sell you into a 2-car garage when your minimum standard is a 3-car garage. What I am going to do is, when we find that 3-car garage, it's in the right school district, and we have the other things, and there's maybe some little things that you're on the fence about, I want you to listen to me if it's a good investment for you or not. At the end of the day, of course, it's your decision, but I want you to know, and I need to know back, that you're willing to listen to my advice as a professional. You wouldn't make an appointment with the doctor and then go in there and have him say, you should do this, and then not listen to him, okay? I had a little thing on my face removed today. You see the little Band-Aid right there. She said we should remove that, and we need to have it checked to see if it's got, a cancer and stuff. I go, you're the doctor. That'd be the equivalent of me saying, I think I know what I'm doing. I'm just gonna take care of it on my own. No, I'm going to listen to the doctor that I'm paying for that service, right? So they're willing to take your advice. Number four, buyer broker agreement. This is a real contested thing. It's up to you and your business model. A lot of agents swear by it. I'm opposite. I swear against it. I have a language buyer broker agreement. Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, we're going to have a covenant and a conversation about buyer broker agreements. I do not require them, but my word is more valuable and more powerful than that written document. That written document can be construed differently. It could be looked at differently by attorneys. It could be ripped apart, ripped in half. It really means nothing more than the paper it's written on, if you have enough money and you care about it that much. What's more important to me is my word. I'm giving you my word that I'm going to have a fiduciary responsibility to you, and I want your word back, and I have an expectation that you're going to use me in the transactions following our relationship, okay? What that looks like is, if you go to an open house, you give them my name so they don't have the opportunity to take you away from me through, a couple different opportunities that they can. I look at it like, if you decide that we're not a good fit, that you give me a warning shot, you give me an opportunity to correct it before you just tell me, hey, I'm sorry, we bought with Bill because we didn't hear back from you on Tuesday. That's unacceptable to me, and we're not a good fit. Now, if we are a fit and I have your word that this is okay, then we're moving forward. All right. Do we have an agreement? Do we have an accord? Are we in expectation matching? If this is all good, then we're good to go. Now, let's just a little tidbit, a little bonus, a little idea for you that I had on my last coaching call. I'm not going to say the area because I don't want to mess up her plans, because she's going to do something big here. But take your buyer broker opportunity, right? You take your value proposition, your value stack of what you're going to do for a buyer. By the way, the buyer's probably paying no commission. The seller's paying the commission, just passed by NAR even today. But the bottom line is the buyer may have this feeling that they're not paying for this service, or they are paying and they're not really paying you. So it can be a weird relationship sometimes. Be so much value, have your value stack so heavy that they have no choice than to work with you. What I mean by that is you could say, hey, if you work with me, any home that's over $1 million, for instance, we're going to take a helicopter ride around the neighborhood, my dime. I'm going to pay for that. That's a service that I think you should have. I want to take you for a helicopter ride around that neighborhood. I want you to get an aerial view of this and get a feel for the neighborhood and the area. And I've got a relationship with ABC Helicopter over here, and they're safe, they're friendly. It's a perfect service record. We're going to do that. That's on me. That's part of my buyer agreement. My buyer, it's my buyer proposal. And you can put a threshold on that so it makes sense. It may cost you $400 or $500. And, don't let your limited belief drunk monkey get in the way of this. Think about that. That not only has a buyer value, but the sellers are going to be seeing this. Other agents are going to be seeing this. You're going to be leading with a value proposition that's greater than everybody else's. And I've done processes like this in my real estate career, and the other agents start referring their buyers to me just so they get the referral fee rather than losing that buyer to my value proposition, right? Pretty cool. So whatever it is for you, figure it out so you offer a buyer value proposition that is so crazy, so good, anybody would be really a fool to pass it up. That's how you can succeed in this market as a buyer's agent. When you're showing more homes, you're driving more miles, you're spending more gas. All this is part of a business value proposition that will make you win. Hope you enjoyed it. It's Coach Randy Bird saying bye for now, but go out there and crush that opportunity. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.